Well, here she is, sent from my mom from Georgia. And it looks just like the pictures of how she said it would be. And I'm excited to have my own car after 5 years of no car. Here's the other side. I've already looked and there is no damage that my mom didn't already document, but I'm mostly showing this because I'm so excited. Of course, one of the things that these PT Cruisers were famous for was the configuration. You can move the seats all around and, you know, basically turn it into a little minivan if you need to, or a hearse. Just kidding. And then this configuration here, where this thing here, you can, it's basically like a picnic table, where this right here actually folds out and locks into this, and then you can bring the whole thing out and makes a little table, literally for if you're picnicking or just doing something out there like that. It does have this power outlet. I've heard somebody say, see, here's the groove, so you can lower this this thing down too. But I heard somebody say the vehicle has to be running for that to work. I don't know, because I heard conflicting information. But for me, using this for work, I oftentimes need something like that to test something like a laptop with my inverter. I have an inverter, and it would be so nice if I was showing somebody or testing a laptop and I had this little work table here and power ready for me right there. Well guys, one of the problems with this car is it has a check engine light on, and in Georgia, where my mom lives, it doesn't matter because they don't have emissions. Here in Texas, for some reason, we have emissions tests. I'm sure that they get money from the federal government for doing that the same way that California did. Just another scam. But anyways, one thing I heard is that if this right here, because this does go out on these commonly apparently, but one of the things that causes it is a loose battery cable. And so I'm looking, I've only had the car for a couple hours, and I spent one of the hour watching TV with my wife before she went to sleep. Anyways, this is loose. And if a common problem that causes this isn't this, but it's a bad battery connection, and I have a finger tight, I mean, clean this terminal, tighten this terminal, see what she'd do. Bye-bye. Guys, so I reset the ECM, I'm sorry, the PCM, you know, the engine control module, by disconnecting the battery cable. The negative terminal was loose anyway, and when I tightened it, the code didn't go away, and I cleared it with my scan tool. It's, you know, just one of these little cheapy things you can get at Walmart, or I think I got mine on Amazon for less than $20. I cleared it and the code would not go away, so I went and I read about it further, and I just disconnected the battery and I let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then I have reconnected it, and now the check engine light is off. I now have time to take this thing out and drive it. The interior, now we can see it in the daytime, is as clean as I was talking the other day, and that check engine light is back on after fixing the ground. However, the great news is I found out that this car is still registered till February, so I can drive it and put it into my own insurance, and that gives me a little bit of leeway still driving it legally while I diagnose what's wrong with it, so that I can transfer it into my name. So just another blessing. Things are going so good so far. It does have a pretty good oil leak, worse than the Accord was before I fixed the problem with the Accord. So that's gonna have to get addressed right quick. It's drivable, but it's not ignorable. All right, guys, I'm out here in my garage, and there's some kind of an oil leak. My mom had told me about this car, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from, and I don't want it to be the oil leak of death that these PT Cruisers have, where it's coming from the front crankshaft. And if that's the case, then you need a new engine. So I've taken out the skid plate and I've hosed all this off with brake cleaner. So now I'm gonna start it, and I'm gonna see where the leak comes from. It only seems to leak when the engine is running, so that's actually kind of worrisome. But that problem was typical and an actual service bulletin for a different year of this car, one series of the same engine from 2005 to 2006. So we're hoping that this is leaking from somewhere else. I'll keep you posted. I'm gonna record it this time while I'm looking for that leak, but mostly just so I can go back and watch it later if I have to. I don't see a leak yet. I'm gonna stop this and let it run for a bit. I used to be a mechanic a long time ago, but I was a light duty mechanic, so some things I'm not familiar with. It looks like this is not leaking from the thing I was afraid of. There's no oil coming out of that crankshaft. It's these two plugs right here. I don't know what these are for. But that is where the leak is coming from. It's those plugs. So to me, that sounds like some pretty good news. I'm gonna have to figure out what the nature of those plugs are and if they're loose and what they go to. And hopefully my adventure with this car is not coming to an end. My mom will be thrilled, and so am I. I'm gonna say it, that I think that's really good news. So I guess praise the Lord, and I'm gonna go inside and have my lunch and figure out what those two things go to. Bye. Guys, I had to go to the store a couple times to get some tools. I didn't have a lot of half-inch drive tools or impact tools, so if this fixes the problem, that's going to be great, because then I'm like $40 in on tools that I'll need again anyway, and I've been able to do the labor for free. But now I have it exposed. This is where the leak is coming from, is these two, they call them bore holes. I've never heard of them. I don't know what they mean. It's very hard to find any information about them on the internet. I don't believe this is something that mechanics know about. I was a mechanic for more than 10 years and I never heard of this. I believe that this is something that happens during the manufacturing process. But these guys, when you go to buy a new pan, they are flush with the pan. On mine, and this is a new pan, this is not the pan that came with it, this is a replacement pan. Mine, they're sticking out and there's oil coming out. So, I mean, it seems too good to be true that this is the major problem with this vehicle that my mom gave me, but it seems like it's an answer to my prayers, because I don't think it has the death knock that they're talking about, where this thing right here is coming out of the engine. And that happened on the later models of this car. I really think it's just a matter of tightening these down, so I'll let you know. Hopefully I'll be driving later today. Okay guys, this is the moment of truth. I have fixed leaks before and the leak got even worse, and I fixed them to where they never came back. Hopefully you can hear me over the car. We're gonna see if it starts seeping oil or if I have a working car now. I'm sure my hair looks great. There's no leak yet. I'm gonna let it run for about 5 minutes. It's 98 degrees here plus humidity. So I'm burning up. I'm gonna go get some ice water. We'll come back and check on these plugs. Hopefully it's not leaking. Well, all that's down there now is some of the residual oil from before, and it looks like I have a car that works now. So, if you're watching this, Mom, and I'm sure you will, I love you. Thank you for this car. I'm going to keep working on it to get it as good as I can, for not dumping too much money into it, but making a good, decent car out of it. It's pretty cool looking. 1930s gangster car, like from those film noir movies, black and white, with all the gangster flicks. Okay, I think I'm gonna put it back together, and this will probably be the last video that I do until I change out the engine control module, or power train control module. I might not even do a video for that. The main thing that was keeping this thing from being driven was that oil leak. So this will probably be it for this series. I'll do one more video of it after I put it back together and I take it for a ride. See you soon. I did all the stuff that was going to be impossible to overcome, which was that massive oil leak. So I still have to get it put into my name. I still have to change the computer. They're very inexpensive. They're less than $200. They'll have it pre-programmed to my VIN. That's easy. I have to order some parts to make the rear wiper blades work again, or wiper motor. My mom gave me most of the parts for it, but there's still a couple things that have to get changed. But the main thing was the massive oil leak. And that, as you know from the last video, we had a happy ending. I put the car back together. I'm at the car wash. I'm gonna wash it. I got my new FM Bluetooth transmitter. So now there's where my phone goes in this car, because there's not a lot of place to put a phone in this car from 2020 or 2002, but this fits perfect. It rides right in the CD tray and it stays there and it's firm, and all of my music comes from YouTube, and then this also can do my navigation and open and close my garage, so it does everything right through my speaker system. So I'm really happy with this car. For me, it's roomy enough to hold 5 as long as they're my sized people, and I'm actually kind of fat, so that's pretty good. When I take my stepson, this is a much comfortable more than the little Honda Accord. The Honda Accord is a bigger car, but it doesn't have as good of floor seating and comfortable seats like this. So I think this was made for older people like me. So it's a very comfortable ride. Gonna wash it, and yeah, so that's all that's left, and I'll probably tint the windows. But this will be the last video other than after the car wash. Get it all cleaned up. I'll show it to you guys. Mostly this is for my mom for giving me this car. I wanted her to see that I got it all up and running and in great shape. So I'll see you after the car wash. Guys, here's my new car. 2002 Chrysler PT Cruiser that my mom gave me. I'll do something about the front license plate. I believe it has to do with a sport team that I'm unfamiliar with. But other than that, I love the car. You saw the whole video already. You know what it took to get it here and what it took to get it fixed. And now it's all mine. So, loving it. Thank you, Mom. I wanted to make a little video showing the car and that I love it. So, thanks again, and thanks to anyone else that watched, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.